everybody. Week 8, final week of the 8 steps to self-care to bring more balance into your life. I'm your host, Ilia Kavoukis. I'm so glad you can join me. And for those of you who are watching the replay, that's great too. Thank you. And I have an offer at the end of the session today, at the end of the information, before we do open it up to question and answers. So let me know if anybody's interested in asking any questions, or if anybody wants a body code down on them. I am available this evening for that. And let me share my screen. And there we go, full screen. All right, so let's do a review. First one was of this series was Say No. Second one was Respect Your Limits. Do something you love every day. Number 4, maintain relationships. Number 5, don't say yes when you mean no. Number 6, don't focus on your problems as being negative. Number 7, don't justify your actions. And before we start with the 8th and final one, let's set the intention today. What would you like to get out of today's session is another way of putting it. A couple of seconds while you do that. And mine today is connection, and you'll see why. So tip number 7, no, it's supposed to be tip number 8. Oops. Tip number 8, don't isolate yourself. I know that sounds really odd right now, considering we're supposed to be isolating ourselves, but you know, I figured everything is just so perfectly orchestrated in this world, and I had come up with these 8 tips way before this COVID-19 pandemic. So oddly enough, this one is falling on the last week of my series, and we're hopefully towards the end of this pandemic with this isolation. And I think people are realizing now how important it is not to isolate ourselves. Okay, fine. We're supposed to isolate ourselves physically, like we're supposed to stay home and not come in contact with anyone except the people that live with us in the same home. But I think we are really starting to appreciate why it's so important we have connections with other people. And yes, of course, we all need our alone time, and I think people are realizing this more and more, especially if you're crammed in a little apartment with multiple people in the apartment. I think people are realizing how important it was to have our alone time. And I'm a people person. I love people. I actually get energy from interacting with people, and I get excited about going out and meeting people, and I feel like I'm a pretty positive person, and I enjoy being with people. But I do like my alone time. I, often find myself, craving a little bit of time on my own. And I think, like introverts really need a lot more time on their own. I'm not like that. I can do maybe an hour a day and I'm good. But I've had a lot of alone time lately. Not so happy about it, but I'm using it to my advantage nonetheless. So I hope you are too. So let's talk about this business about being alone. And the truth is, we're not meant to be alone. We are tribe people. Our brains are hardwired to connect. They've actually done studies, and there are these things called mirror neurons in our brain that when we are with people, we can actually pick up on their emotions, what is happening in their mind. Yes, we can read minds. That's what I'm saying. We can pick up on their state, like if they're happy or if they're sad. And for sure, our face tells us a huge story, but even what's going on, we can pick up the slight nuance of an expression, and that's our innate built-in system actually to help us, to protect us, because when we are reading people, we want to know, our first thought is it safe? It's our first thought, whether you're conscious of it or not. Is this a safe place to be right now with this person in this situation? Or if there's multiple people, we actually are reading people constantly. So going back to this whole business about being alone, our primitive brain interprets being alone, like, I'm not talking about alone time, but alone like a lot, day after day, especially elder people. Our primitive brain actually interprets that as danger. Because what did it mean for us to be alone? You know, when we're cavemen and, running for our life from a wild animal. What did it mean? It meant death, because we were only strong in numbers. Quantity of people can intimidate wild animals. One or two people, not so much, because they size us up too pretty fast. And they go, oh yeah, I think I can handle them. So our primitive brain, our reptilian brain, actually interprets a lot of alone time as danger. And it's actually seen as, they've actually realized, they've said that a lot of people who are alone have greater risk of death than those who smoke, and heart disease, and all of that. So we want to check our alone time. We want to check our connection with people. And yeah, for sure right now, if you're not living with anybody, connecting with somebody on the phone or Facebook, through Messenger, or even just checking out what people are doing on Facebook is always fun too. But Skype or FaceTime, it's a good way to connect, and you feel better, but also the person who you're connecting with or you're reaching out to may feel better, unless you're calling them every day and you're annoying them. I hope I'm not doing that to my mom and my daughter, but that's another story. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say about alone, and how when we are alone, metaphorically, like in our thoughts and in the way we perceive how we go through life, if we feel alone, that's not good too. That can be pretty sad, and that's really not good for our health either. And here's today's card, energy card, Together, it's called. Being with family and friends, celebrating life together. I am home. You are never alone. Yeah, that's beautiful. And as usual, I suggest that we all peer into the image that doesn't have the letters on it, and just allow your eyes to relax and sort of gaze into it. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again, these cards are pretty powerful if you use them. They're included in the PDF that you got when you signed up for this free webinar. So again, if you enjoyed this, would you please like and share? Like my Facebook page, and you can leave a review on Google. That's really cool. If you can do that, that's great. So far, I'm only up to 5 reviews, but boy, are they ever good. Oh, they're so wonderful. Thank you so much. And I have a YouTube channel. Yay! And as time goes by, as I have more and more, when I get around to it, I should say, I'm going to be posting all of these webinars to the YouTube channel. I already started with the first 2, as you can see. And if you want to clear some blockages to feeling and being more connected, contact me. I have a wonderful tool that I use to help people clear blockages to actually anything, Could be physical, emotional, anything that you need to be cleared, we can do it. And here's my offer for those who are listening to this webinar or those who are listening to the replay before May 31st, 2020. If you email me or call me, you get a free 30-minute session of Life Can Be Amazing if you mention the code AMAZING. It's going to be yours for free. 30 minutes with me. We can work on anything you want, and no strings attached. You can just try out. And if you have had a session with me and you liked it and you want a freebie, I wouldn't mind at all. That's my gift